Disclaimer: this is an imaginary story. Please don't relate it with any idol or any other person. It's nothing related to anyone's life. It's pure work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental. It's a Notice 7 story. If you are soloist and can't see other members, then this story isn't for you. You are on wrong channel. Watch the story carefully, then comment. Be respectful and don't embarrass yourself. Whatever pics are shown in this story, they all have been taken from Google and Pinterest. The credit for them goes to their real owner. Storyline and voice are mine, so please don't copy that. Have you ever felt like your talent isn't valued in your own country? Like maybe if you were born somewhere else, you would have been more successful, more appreciated, more understood. Have you ever imagined leaving everything behind to settle in another country, to work there, to start over? But what if one day you actually get the chance to go to your dream country and you lie to make it happen? Will your talent finally be recognized? Will your dream country be exactly the way you imagined it? And more importantly, will you truly be happy there? Let's find out together. Angrily threw the files on the table. I'm so done with this country. There is no value of talent here. I wish if I was born in any other country, my life was much easier. Looking at his younger brother, who was sitting on the floor with his notebook and looking at him. Why are you looking at me? Am I looking like a clown? Cook shook his head vigorously. No, Hobby Young, I was cut off. Hobby, why am I even asking? Of course, I'm looking like a clown. You should laugh at me. Ha ha ha. Kim Hoshchuk is a clown. Ah. By the way, what are you doing? Cook, memorizing the chapters for the test. Hobby, no need to memorize anything. Nothing will happen with good grades. Look at me. I was a topper, but now I'm a clown. School will make you parrot. Nothing will happen in this country. This country is fully corrupt. He angrily went to his room while shouting and laughing at himself. Well, it's nothing new in their house. Cook carefully collect the certificates and mark sheet which fell because Hobby threw the files. He rearranged them and again started memorizing for his test. After another hour, another man entered holding some bags. Cook ran to him, took the bags from his hands, and went to the kitchen. The man sat on the couch, who was soaking in sweat. Cook gave him a glass of water. Jinhang, water. Jin took the glass from his hand. Thank you, Cookie. Looking here and there while drinking the water. Hasn't Hobie come yet? Cook. He came an hour ago. He is in his room. He is looking so furious. He threw his file and said he is a clown. I should laugh at him. I was so scared to see him. I didn't go to check on him. Jin, placing the glass on the table. That means his interview again didn't go well. Let me check him. Cook. But Yang, aren't you tired? Jin, I'm fine. Let me check him before he hurt himself or destroy our one and only house. Cook, I don't think you should talk with him right now. He's so mad. You both will again end up with an argument. Talk with him after the dinner. Jin, you are right. I'm coming after changing. Time skipped after the dinner. Jin was sitting on the couch and eating pastry. Hobie was massaging his shoulders and Cook was massaging his legs. Jin, feeding Cook, this pastry is better than the previous one. What do you think? Cook, it's good, but I like the taste of the previous one. That was delicious. Jin, try to feed Hobie. Hobie, you taste it and tell which one is better, this one or the previous one. Hobie glared at him. Are you serious, Yang? Jin, how serious is to taste pastry? Hobie, Yang was a stop your over cheerful side. Jin, now you have problem with my cheerful side too? Hobie, I have problem with your this fake side which you always try to show that you are fine and everything is under control when it's not. Jin, everything is under control. When was it fake? Hobie, really, Yang? Everything is under control. Your hands, your legs, your shoulders hurt all the time. You can't even afford proper treatment because medical expenses are too high. You overwork yourself just to earn a little more. You bring leftover food from the restaurant so we can manage our food expenses. Cookie couldn't go on a trip with his friends because we didn't have money to give him. I go to interview every day, but no one hires me. Either they want experience or they have already chosen someone they know. And the jobs that are available pay so little that we can't survive on them. But the workload is insane. Jin, I don't bring food home to manage expenses. I bring it so it doesn't go to waste. I have seen that food being made. All the employees share it. If we don't take it, it gets thrown away. What's wrong with that? Cook, softly, I don't have any problem eating leftover food. People pay to eat restaurant food. We get it at home for free. And I didn't even want to go on that trip. Instead of wasting money on a trip, we can all go somewhere together one day. That would be better. Jin, looking at Hobie, you take your time finding a job. I don't have a problem. The house runs fine on my income. Whatever you earn will just a bonus. Hobie clenched his fist. But I have a problem. It hurts me seeing both of you sacrifice like this. I want to give you a life where you don't have to adjust all the time. Cookie is so young, yet he already knows how to surprise his wishes. Do you think he doesn't want to go out with his friends? He just doesn't say it. Jin, this isn't killing desires, it's living within our limits. It's not sacrifice, it's adjustment. And you are only 25. You have time. We aren't running anywhere. Hobie, that's the problem. I'm already 25 and still not settled. I should have taken responsibility by now. You did when you were 20. Jin, my situation was different. I had no choice. You do. You can choose your job. You can take your time. The burden of running this house isn't on you. Hobie, so responsibility is only yours. Don't you deserve rest too? Jin, yes, because I'm the eldest. Responsibility comes to the eldest first. And stop putting this pressure on yourself. Today's competition is brutal. Thousand apply for one position. When did I ever pressure you? Hobby, frustrated. Don't you think if we were in another country, life would be better? You work 14 hours a day and earn so little. In other countries, you would be paid according to your effort. Medical expenses are lower, jobs are easier to get, salaries are higher, people are happier there. Jin, that's what it looks like from outside. We only see their advantages. No country is perfect. Higher salaries means higher taxes, living costs are expensive, rent, transport, food, everything cost more. And country does try. It's just that corruption blocks many benefits from reaching us. You should respect your country, be proud of it. If this country exists, we exist. Hobby, don't get overly patriotic, young. Whenever you start losing an argument, you say that. The truth is, there is nothing here to be proud of. Other countries are a million times better. If I ever get the chance, I will leave this country immediately and I won't come back. Stormed out. Jin, Hobby, Hobby, Hobby. Ash. When will he understood? No country is perfect. It's the people who are imperfect. Cook. I agree with you, Hang. My teacher says other countries look good only on travel and social media. Our country is the best. I will never leave it. Even if we earn less, at least we will stay together. Jin patted his head. You still have time to think about all this. By your time, things might become even harder. You need to grow strong from now on so you can face whatever comes in the future. Cook, I promise, Yang, I will work hard and never disappoint you. Hobby walked into his room. He was a middle class boy with very high dreams. He wasn't willing to settle for less. He wanted to achieve a lot in life. He had degrees. He wanted a job but wasn't getting even a single decent opportunity. He was frustrated. Watching his friends move ahead in life made him feel worse. He wasn't jealous of their success. He was angry at his own failure. He was laying on the bed and scrolling his mobile. Hobby, scrolling on his mobile. Really? Even he get a job? He barely know anything. He somehow managed to pass. Everyone has a job now. Everyone is living a good life except me. What am I supposed to do with all these degrees if they can't even get me a one decent job? His father is a manager. Of course, he placed him under himself. That's how it works. Capable people don't get jobs, and people like him get everything served at home. This is exactly why I don't want to live in this country. There is nothing here except corruption. That's why I prefer abroad. At least their jobs are given based on qualification, not on what your parents do. There can't be a worse country than this. My fate was bad that I was born here. This was a common problem among many young people, and it wasn't entirely wrong either. when corruption crossed limits and despite being qualified, you didn't get a job while others are less capable easily succeed. The pain became unbearable. He kept scrolling on his mobile when suddenly an advertisement appeared. His eyes lightened up. Hobby, what's this? Welcome to the world where dreams come true. Started reading. We are looking for hardworking and dedicating employees for our company. We will take care of your dreams and provide a salary higher than you expect for your work. Food and accommodation will be provided by the company. If you have the required qualifications and skills, contact us. This job is only for freshers, age 19 to 30. For further information, contact us at the number and email below. Hurry, limited post available. Hobby, thinking aloud. A job offer abroad, food and accommodation covered, and such a good salary. I have all the qualification they are asking for. I should apply. No, what if it's a fraud? But if it's real, I will lose a huge opportunity. Jobs like this didn't stay vacant for long. They have given their address here. I should check their website properly. If this is real, then this is the solution of my all problems. He began checking their website and noted down all the details. He had every qualification and skill the company required, and the job was in his dream company, the one he had been following for a long. All the information on the website appeared genuine. He filled out the application form. Soon he received an email saying he had been shortlisted for the interview the next day. Hobby. Wow, their service is really fast. They shortlisted me within an hour. I just have to clear tomorrow's interview somehow, and this dream job will be mine. Good thing I already have my passport. Finally, something good happened today. Tomorrow's morning will open the door to a new life for me. He was so excited about the interview, he fell asleep imagining the future life. After some time, Jin entered the room and noticed Hobie's documents scattered around. Jin, what am I supposed to do with this boy? Sometimes he talks like a mature adult ready to take responsibilities, and other times he behaves like a careless child, leaving his things scattered everywhere. He has left all his documents here. Tomorrow, when he won't find something, he will turn the whole house upside down. He gathered all the documents and placed them back in the cupboard. Among them, he found Hobie's passport. Just then, a message notification popped up on Hobie's phone. Jin checked it. Jin, a message at this hour? Read it. Oh, it's job interview message. He has shortlisted for the interview. Existed the message. What kind of site is this? Welcome to the world where dreams become reality. Dreams equal to reality. These days, who knows what kind of website exists? Maybe it's just a job portal, but why did he take out his passport? Maybe he got mixed up with the documents by mistake. Gently covered Hobie with a blanket and brushed his hair back. Your dreams will come true soon. Just give yourself some time. I know you can do it. Jin kept all the documents safely in the cupboard, switching off the lights, and left the room totally unaware of the storm that was quietly coming towards their family to shatter them. Time skipped in the morning. Hobie was very happy and confident, but nervous a little because this wasn't just an opportunity for him, it was the door of his happiness. He was hurriedly going for his interview. Cookie stopped him. Cook, Hobie Hang, wait! Hobie, while tying his shoelaces, I can't drop you at your school today. I'm in hurry. Cook, I don't want you to come with me. I only want to give you this. Gave him his lucky pen. Hobie, I already have a pen. I don't need yours. Cook, Hyang, this isn't an ordinary pen. This is my lucky pen. Jin Hyang gifted it to me when I was in middle school. I always wrote my all the exams with this pen and I always topped. My lucky charm will bring success to you. I'm sure today you will definitely get a job. Hobie took the pen from his hand. Thank you, Cookie. I really need this so bad. Jin bent down and tied Hobie's shoelaces. Don't be nervous. Have faith in yourself. Whether you get this job or not, it won't define your worth. Your family is with you and already very proud of you. Hobie, looking at Jin with teary eyes, you have this faith in me? Jin patted his cheeks. Of course we have. Give this interview without any worries. I know you will give your best. Cook hugged Hobie tightly. Best of luck, Yang. Give your best. Hobie, thank you. Jin, do you want me to come with you? Hobie, no, Yang. You go to your job. Jin, are you sure? I will just drop you at the interview place. Cook, Jin Hang, Hobie Hang isn't a PP. He will manage. I'm a PP. You should come with me. Hobie, yes, Hang, you should go with him. Meet you in the evening. Time skipped after a week. A week had passed. Hobie cleared the interview and got the job in the abroad, his dream country. But he hid this with Jin and Cook. He thought if he told them this, they wouldn't let him go there. He told them that he was going to another city for 3 months training. Jin and Cook were so happy to get this news. Today he was leaving for abroad. Jin, Hobie, did you check your bags? Hobie, I checked everything, Hang. Don't worry. Cook, I'm ready. Let's go. Hobie, where are you going? Cook, railway station to see you off. Hobie, no need to go anywhere. I already booked a cab. I will call you once I reach there. Cook, wait, I want to see you off. Jin, even me too. I also want to see you off. It's your first time to go anywhere alone. At least let us come to see you off. Hobie, seriously, Hang, you don't need to come. I'm an adult now. I will manage. Jin, okay, we won't come, but take care of yourself and call us every day. Look, your cab is here. Hobie, looking at them with teary, guilty eyes. I'm sorry, Hang, I lied to you, but when I will call you and Cookie there, you both will be so happy. I just want some times. Very soon I will settle down there. Then I will take both of you out of this messy life. We will live there a peaceful and happy life where you don't need to suppress your wishes. Wait for me, I will come back. Hobie walked away with teary eyes and a faint smile on his lips. He didn't know that this might be the last time he was seeing his family. With countless dreams holding his heart, he stepped forward towards his bright future, unaware that what awaits him ahead would change his entire life forever. He finally arrived in his dream country. A company car was waiting at the airport to receive him and took him to a hotel. After freshening up, the same car brought him to the company building. He was extremely excited to begin his new life. He entered a large hall where many people between the age of 19 to 30 were already present talking among themselves. There he met a boy who offered him his water bottle when he suddenly started coughing loudly. Boy, sir, drink some water. Hobie drank water. Thank you, I'm Kim Hoshuk. You little kid, what are you doing here? Boy, hello, my name is Jimin. Nice to meet you. And I'm not a little kid, I'm a full 19 years old. Do you know I defeated 20 candidates to get this job? Said proudly. Hobie in mind. He is only 19 but talks like he is 39. Kids these days really thinks they have grown up quickly. If Jin Hyang was here, he would definitely say, do you even know how to talk properly before acting so grown up? Jimin shaking him. Sir, what happened? Why are you smiling while looking at me? Hobie slowly shaking his head. Nothing. You can call me Hobie Hyang. Jimin. Hyang? What's this? I have never heard this word before. What does it mean? Hobie. Hyang means an elder man, like an older brother. Since I'm elder than you can call me Hobie Hyang. Jimin. Oh, okay, no problem. So, Hobie Hyang, you came here to work, right? Hobie. But why do you need a job? At your age, you should be studying. Jimin. I actually came here to study, but after arriving here, I heard about this job. Now I will earn a lot of money, buy many happiness for my family, and then take this country's citizenship and settle here permanently. This country is really great. I have heard so much about it. People say this country fulfills everyone's dream, and this company turns our dream into reality. Hobie in mind. At just 19 years old, he not only came here to an unknown country but is already talking about taking citizenship and settling here permanently. Kids these days have really become advanced. He is only 2 years older than Cookie, yet the difference between them is like heaven and earth. Cookie still feels like a little baby. It doesn't seem like he has grown up at all, and this boy is already planning to settle abroad forever. Jimin, shaking him again. Hyang, Hobie Hyang, where did you lost again? Hobie, nowhere. Seeing you reminded me of my younger brother. He is only 2 years younger than you. Jimin, Then I'm your younger brother too? Hobie smiled. Of course you are. While the two of them were talking, a man entered the hall with 4 or 5 bouncers. He walked onto the stage and spoke. Men, welcome to our dream equal to reality company. You are the 150 lucky candidates who were selected from thousands of applications around the world. First of all, congratulations. Many young people dream of coming to this country, building a future here, and supporting their families. But very few get such an opportunity, and today you are among those few. Our company believes in hard work, dedication, and loyalty. If you work sincerely, we guarantee you three things: a stable job, a high salary, and a possibility of permanent settlement in this country. Jimin, I just started sparkling with excitement. Yang, did you hear that? Permanent settlement? Hobie, smiling slightly. Calm down. First, let's see what the job actually is. Men, but before we move forward, there are a few important rules you must follow while working with our company. First, for security reasons, you must submit your passport and documents to the management. They will return once your contract period is completed. Second, during the training period, you will stay in company accommodation. This is mandatory for all employees. Whatever things you need, you will get there. Your all the belongings are safe in the company's hotel. You will get all of them after the training period will over. And lastly, you have to submit your mobile phones, wallet, and other things which you brought with yourself. Mobiles are destruction, and for maintaining privacy, we need your mobile. Everyone started gossiping. Relax, guys. I know you must have to inform your family about your whereabouts. You can leave the number. Our company will inform your family. There is nothing to worry about. We have already decided on your works. Our supervisors will tell you about your work. After today, your lives will begin to change. Welcome to the place where dreams become reality. The man finished his speech and the hall filled with claps. Everyone was happy because their dreams were going to true, but Hobie felt a strange uneasiness in his chest, something he couldn't explain. Hobie in mind, why do I feel like something isn't right here? Why am I getting the institution that something is fishy here? Jimin, Yang, this is amazing. I told you this country makes dreams come true. Hobie forced a smile. Yeah, patted his head. Time skipped after a few days. A few days had passed since Hobie arrived at the company. At first, everything looked normal. The employees were given rooms, uniforms, and strict schedules. Phones and passport had been taken for security reason. They were told the company would keep them safe and focused on work. But slowly, small things began to feel wrong. The windows of the buildings were sealed. Security guards stood at every exit. No one was allowed to go outside, and the work they were doing didn't feel like a normal job. Hobie was standing inside a large production room where gloves and masks, hundreds of medicine boxes were stacked around the hall. Some workers were removing the packaging of tablets and bottles. Something about it felt strange. He wasn't allowed to go in that room. There were some old workers who were doing this job. All the new workers weren't allowed there. Hobie picked the tablet which accidentally dropped there. His eyes widened to see the label. Hobie, looking at the tablet. Wait, why is there the wrong expiry date mentioned? Something struck. This tablet is already expired and it was fallen from the new stock which has just arrived. These workers aren't among 150 people who were appointed by them. None of us is allowed here. These workers are removing the original packaging and transferring in the other boxes. Jimin's condition isn't good. He works in a production unit. He couldn't breathe properly. Not only Jimin, but some other workers have same symptoms. It means they are making fake medicines using expired ones. It's illegal. They disconnected us from outer world so that they can easily run their illegal work. We are caged here. That means this isn't a job. It's an employment scam. They are using us. I have to talk with others before it's too late. Hobie immediately ran to production unit and saw there some workers were gathering around Jimin who couldn't breathe and fell on the floor while coughing hard. Hobie bent on the floor and took Jimin's head on his lap. Jimin, what happened? Looking at the workers, move aside, he needs fresh air. Carried Jimin in his arms and about to run, but stopped by the supervisor. Supervisor, what's happening here? Looking at Hobie, what are you doing here? It's not your unit. Looking at Jimin, where are you taking him? Hobie, he couldn't breathe. I'm taking him outside in the fresh air. He needs that. Supervisor, no need. Go back to your unit and work. He's fine. Looking at workers, go back to your work. We aren't paying you high salary to stand and watch drama. Move. All the workers again started working. When Hobie didn't agree to leave Jimin, a bouncer came forward and forcefully took Jimin from his hand, who was almost passed out. His eyes were teary, vision was blurry, breathing were uneven. His body temperature suddenly began dropping. He couldn't understand what was happening around him. He only knew Hobie was fighting for him. He only heard his voice, nothing else. Bouncer was going with Jimin, but Hobie stopped his way. Hobie, where are you taking him? He needs medical help. Can't you see? He was unable to breathe. Supervisor, don't teach us our work. It will be better for you if you go back to your unit and work. Instead of taking Jimin to the doctor, Bouncer locked Jimin in a dark room. Hobie protested for him. He tried his best to stop them from locking Jimin. Hobie, what the hell are you doing? Why are you locking him? He will die there. Supervisor, then let him die. We don't care. Go back to your work. Hobie, I know you all are doing illegal work. You scammed us, but I won't let you harm Jimin. Supervisor, so you already knew our secret? Good. But now you have to pay the price of raising your voice. Answers, handle him. Left. Supervisor left from there. Hobie tried to help Jimin, but bouncers brutally beaten him and locked him in another room. They threatened the other workers that if anyone dared to go against them, they would kill them. All the workers were afraid. Both Jimin and Hobie need help, but who would help them in this unknown country? There, Hobie was in danger, and here Jin wasn't feeling well. It had been days since Hobie left for his work, but he still didn't get any information about him. Cook was trying his best to calm him down. Jin, Cookie, what happened? Cook, looking at his laptop. Yeah, there is no such company and job portal exists named Dream equal to reality. Jin, but how's that possible? I myself saw the site and message, and Hobie also told us about this company. Cook, I'm trying to find similar sites, but there are no such sites. Jin, something is fishy, Cookie. I'm not getting good vibes. I have been feeling uneasiness in the morning. Something wrong happened there. Hobie is in danger. We can't wait more for his call or message. Let's go to Hobie. Cook, but where do we go, Hyang? Do you know where Hobie Hyang can go? In the excitement, he forgot to ask. Jin, I asked him, but he didn't say anything. Cook, so now, how would we find Hobie Hyang? Jin, let's go to the police station. Now only cops can help us. Cook, wait, let me bring Hobie Hyang's pic and documents. Jin, he didn't take his laptop. Bring that too. Cook, okay, Hyang. Ran to Hobie's room. With that, Jin and Cook came to the police station with Hobie's belongings. They already filed the complaint. They had been there since the morning. Now it was evening. They still didn't get any response. Jin sat on the wooden bench, his fingers tightly clenched together. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. Every few seconds he checked his mobile again, hoping to see Hobie's name appear on the screen, but the screen remained black. Beside him stood Cook, holding Hobie's laptop tightly against his chest, placing his hand on Jin's shoulder. Officer, Kim Shokjin? Jin immediately stood up. Yes, it's me. Did you get any information about my brother? Did you find out his location? Is he safe? Officer, right now we didn't get any clue about your brother. Your case has been transferred to the Cyber Crime Division. Officer Kim Namjoon will handle the investigation personally. Please come with me. Jin and Cook exchanged a quick glance. The officer took them to the cabin. The room was filled with computer screens displaying different data, streams, and maps. A tall man stood near the desk receiving files. He looked up as they entered. June, looking at Jin, you must be Kim Shokjin. Jin slowly nodded his head. Yes, I'm Kim Shokjin, and he is my younger brother, Cook. I had filed the missing complaint of my younger brother, Hobie. Don't know why they sent me here. June, first calm down and have a seat, please. We are here for your help. We will try our best to search for your brother and bring him back safely to you. Have trust in us. Please sit here. Looking at Cook, you two sit here. Jin and Cook immediately sat on the chairs. I read your complaint. Your case may involve cyber recruitment fraud. That's why they transferred this case to me. I'm Namjin, cybercrime specialist. passed a glass of water to Jin. Drink some water and tell me from the start what happened. Jin drank the water and took a deep breath. My brother, Hobie, received a job offer from a company called Dream Equal to Reality. They said he needed to go for 3 months of training in another city. June, which city? Jin, face fell. Don't know. June, are you serious? Your brother went to another city for job training and you didn't even bother to ask its name? How can be so careless? Jin, looking at him, I asked him, but he didn't tell me. He said he will be everything later, and later in excitement of getting job and preparation of moving to another city, we didn't ask. A brief silence filled the room. June leaned back in his chair. He was hearing everything silently. June, how long has it been since the last contact? Jin, 2 weeks. June, expression became serious. You haven't received any news about your brother for 2 weeks and you are complaining now. How can be you so careless? You should have come to us within a week. Cook, we got a message from Hobie Hang. He said he safely reached there. His training schedule is very tight, so he can't call or message us. He will call us whenever he will get the time. We shouldn't try to contact him as his mobile would be switched off. So we were relaxed after getting his message, but after 12 days, when we didn't get any message or call from him, we started panicking. We tried to contact him, but his mobile was switched off. We waited 2 more weeks, but when he didn't get any information about him, we came here to file a complaint. June, this case isn't as simple as I thought. Do you have anything connected to the job offer? Emails, documents, message? Cook immediately placed the laptop on the desk. This is his laptop. He used it for the job application. I sometimes used it for my study. That's why he didn't bring it with him. June opened the laptop. The screen light up, reflecting in his own focused eyes. He began checking folders, browsing history, emails. Minutes passed in silence. Jin's anxiety grew with every second. Finally, June stopped trying. His expression hardened. Jin, nervous. Did you find something? June slowly turned the laptop towards them. That's the problem. Pointed at empty inbox. All the emails connected to this company are gone. Cook frowned. Maybe he deleted them because I didn't touch it. John shook his head. No. Opened another window. Browsing history deleted. Download records deleted. Even catch websites data erased. Jin felt his heart sink. What does that mean? June closed the laptop slowly. It means someone wiped this device remotely. Cook, you mean someone hacked this laptop? June, yes. Jin clenched his hands tightly. Is he danger? June, I can't confirm that yet. Show me the message which you received from him. Jin, yes, hurriedly took out his mobile and searching the message. June read Jin's tense expression. What happened? You didn't find the message? Jin slowly looking at June and nodding his head. I swear I read the message. I didn't delete it. Don't know why I can't find it now. Cook, hang, let me check. June You won't get that message because it disappeared. This case is getting complicated, but I can assure you about one thing. Placed his hand on Jin's trembling hand. I will bring him back safely to you. Looking at Cook, go back home. I will inform you if I get any information about your brother. Leave this laptop here. I already take your number from the registered complaint. Jin wasn't ready to leave without Hobie, but Cook somehow took him. Jin was completely shattered, but in this time, Cook stood stronger for his young without being panicked. Once they left, John went to the big digital board. He got the call and received it. Officer, sir, we tried to find about Dream Equal to Reality Company, but there is no such company registered. John, I knew it. I'm sending you the laptop. Try to recover the data. I know it will be hard to recover the data because it has been deleted more than 2 weeks ago, but still try. Officer, okay, sir. Cut the call. John, looking at the digital board. If someone erased every trace of his company, expression darkened, then we may be dealing with something much bigger than a missing job applicant. Looks like a big fish is waiting for us to be caught. There, Jin and Cook were worried about Hobie, and here Jimin and Hobie were locked in separate rooms for whole day without food and water. Whole day bouncers guiding the doors. The workers reunited and made a plan. They purposely filled the big containers and created the smoke because of wrong reaction of medicines. Bouncers went to help them. Four workers secretly unlocked the doors and helped Hobie to run away with Jimin. As everywhere was smoke, nothing came in CCTV cameras. Workers locked the door again because of smoke. They had to open the doors and windows before the bouncers and supervisors understood anything. Hobie ran away with Jimin. They didn't bother to check Hobie and Jimin because doors were already locked and counting of workers were correct. Hobie was very weak. His body was covered with bruises. Jimin was in his arms unconscious. His face was pale. He was walking on the street and asking for help, but no one came forward to help him. Everyone just ignoring them. They were very busy to pay attention to them. He fell on the road while asking help. His vision became blurry, eyes were teary, his eyes shut closed. Time skipped after some times. Hobie slowly opened his eyes and found himself in someone's bedroom. He was very tired to move his finger. His body was hurting. He remembered Jimin and immediately moved his head to other side only to find Jimin there with fire of machines and drip. He sighed in relief to find him there. Suddenly he heard a voice and flinched hard. So you woke up? How are you feeling now? Hobie, looking at the man, who are you? How did I come here? Jimin, how is he now? Try to move. Men, wait. Help him to sit and, with the help of pillows, comfortable. Hobie slowly nodded his head. Men, I'm Dr. Yungi. I brought you to my home. How are you feeling now? You both aren't looking local. Are you foreigners? Hobie, I'm Kim Hoshok. Hobie, and he's Jimin. Please help us. We came here for a job but got scammed. Yungi, relax. Hugged him tightly. You two are completely safe with me. I will help you. This boy Jimin, he has the same disease which is spreading rapidly. How he get this disease? Hobie closed his eyes tightly and told him everything. So this happened with us. I somehow ran from there with Jimin. Yungi, it's so easy to fool you kids. When will you understand that every shining things aren't gold? You don't know what you invited for yourself. Hobie, I'm sorry. I fell into their trap. I just want to go home to my family. They must be worried for me. Don't know they get any information about me or not. They didn't even know that I am in this country. I lied to them. I thought to give them a surprise. Cried. Can I get your mobile? I will call my family. Please don't deny. Folded his hands and begged, please. Yungi wiped his tears. First, don't cry. You want to scare your family more? Handed him his mobile. Here, talk with your family, but quickly inform them about your location. The weather here isn't good. Signal is very weak. Doorbell rang. Who can be at this time? Hobie. Thank you so much. But what if those people come here searching for us? Yungi, don't be afraid. I'm a doctor. Maybe any patient comes. I'm going to check. Till then, take care. Talk to your family. Meanwhile, with Jin, Jonas still didn't get any information about Hobie. He contacted all the city's police for further information. Jin was completely shattered. Cook was trying his best to handle him, but he was also the kid. He was also worried for Hobie. Doorbell rang and he went to open the door. June entered inside. Cook asked him about Hobie. Cook, Hyang, did you get any information about Hobie, Hyang? June, not yet. We are trying. I contacted other cities' police station too. Hope we will get some clues. Looking at the food tray in Cookie's hand, what happened? Jin still didn't eat. Cook slowly shook his head. No. Their Hobie Hyang is missing, and here Jin Hyang refused to eat anything. I'm so scared. I don't want to lose any of them. June hugged him tightly. Shh. You are doing great. Nothing will happen to your both the hangs. Very soon I will bring your Hobie Hang back. Give me this tray. I will talk with Jin. Have you eaten? Cook slowly nodded his head. June entered Hobie's room carrying a tray of food. Inside, Jin was sitting on the floor among a pile of Hobie's clothes, clenching Hobie's photo frame tightly to his chest. His condition looked terrible. June placed the tray on the floor, sat down in front of him, and said, June, Jin, what have you done to yourself? Cook told me you haven't been eating. Jin, if you come here with the news about Hobie, then stay, otherwise, you can leave. Do you have any information about my brother? June, slowly shaking his head. Not yet, but we are trying. Jin, trying. For the past 2 days, that's all I have been hearing, that you are trying. If you are trying, then where are the results? Why is there still no news about my brother? Is your police force, your whole department, not capable of finding one person? June, it's not as simple as you think. Without any clues, searching for Hobie in such a huge country is like finding a needle in a haystack. Holding his hands, listen to me. Jin, pushing him away. I don't want to listen. I just want my brother back. He has been missing for days. I don't know where is he, whether he has eaten anything or not, what condition in his I don't know anything whether he is alive or burst into tears. John hugging him tightly. What are you saying? Whether he will be fine. He isn't a child. He can take care of himself. Jin pushing him away again. He is a child for me. What do you people know about how it feels when someone from your family is in danger and you can't do anything to help them? Do you know how helpless that feels? All you people do is tell us to trust you, but I don't trust you. I just want my brother back. If you people can't do anything, then tell us. We will find him ourselves. June, holding Jin's shoulders firmly. Have you lost your mind? Do you think we aren't human? Do you think we don't understand people's emotions? For a kind information, I have a family too. I know very well how it feels when your loved ones are in trouble. I didn't fell from the sky. I'm a human just like you. Right now, we don't have any clue about Hobie. All the evidence has already been wiped out. Searching for him across the entire country will take time. I'm personally handling this case. We are doing everything we possibly can. We aren't sitting idle. You can't lose hope like this. If your worries for Hobie, you have forgotten that you have another younger brother, someone who needs you. You are only thinking about yourself. What about that child whose one brother is missing and the other one has stopped eating and drinking? Honestly, that little kid is showing more courage and maturity than you right now. At least he is trying to handle things. Do you think sitting here striving yourself in grief will bring Hobie back? And even if he did return, do you think he would be happy seeing you like this? Why are you thinking so negatively? Think positively. I promised you I will bring your brother back to you safely. But you have to give me some time. This isn't as easy as you think. Jin, hugging him tightly. I just want my brother back. I don't care how. Just bring him back. June, I will bring him back. But you need to take care of yourself too. Now, come on, eat something. Hobie will return soon. If he sees you like this, it will hurt him deeply. You don't want to hurt him, right? Then eat. June somehow managed to calm Jin down and feed him. Outside the door, Cook was standing silently, watching everything. Seeing his young in such a condition broke his heart. Suddenly, his mobile rang. It was in the kitchen. He ran there quickly and answered the call. Cook, hello? Hobie, hello, Cookie? Cook, Hobie Hang, where are you? Do you know how worried we all are about you? Hobie, hello. Cook, hello, Hobie Hang, hello, Yang, say something. Call disconnected. Cook screamed, Jin Yang, Jun Yang. Hearing Cook shout, Jin and June rushed downstairs and saw him crying while holding his mobile. Jin, Cookie, what happened? Why are you shouting? Cook, Yang, it was Hobie Hang's call. Jin, Hobie called? What did he say? Where is he? Why aren't you saying anything? June, let him speak first. You have been talking non-stop. Looking at Cook. Cook, what did Hobie say? Cook, he only said hello before he could tell me where he was. The call got disconnected, but he sounds worried. June, show me the number. The call came from Cook, showing him mobile. This number, June, this isn't local number. It's from a foreign country. Jin, a foreign country? June, made a call. I'm sending you a number. Trace it and find the location. Hobby called from this number a few minutes ago, but the call suddenly disconnected. June sent the number and ended the call. After a while, he received a message confirming that the number was indeed from overseas. June, Hobby is in abroad. Cook, abroad? But when and how did he go there? June, I don't know yet. I have to leave immediately. If Hobby contacts you again, inform me right away. Note, I don't want to use any particular country's name because I don't want to show any country wrong. That's why I use the term abroad as the country where Hobby is. Jin, I'm coming with you. June, and what will you do there? Jin, then Cookie and I will go abroad ourselves and bring Hobby back. June, in such a huge foreign country, where will you even start looking? There is no need to act recklessly. One wrong step from you could put Hobby in even more danger. This case is no longer limited to our country, another country is involved too. I will have to contact the officers there. For now, the best thing you can do is stay here. I will keep you informed about everything. Looking at Cook. Cook, stay alert. If you receive any call, make sure you record it. And no matter what happens, don't share any information about yourself, even if Hobie himself asks for it. It could be a trap, okay? Cook. Okay, Hang, I will be careful. June left the house, but for Jin and Cook, at least a small spark of hope had finally appeared. Time skipped at midnight. It was past midnight. Heavy rain was pouring outside. Suddenly, someone began banging loudly on Jungi's door. The electricity was cut, so the doorbell wasn't working. Before opening the door, Jungi first locked Hobie and Jimin's room from outside. Then he opened the door and saw the police standing there. Jungi, yes, what is it? Officer, I'm Officer Tiang. I'm looking for a 25 years old man. Jungi, no one lives here except me. T, but I received information that the man is here. I will need to search your house. Jungi, if I have already told you that no one else is here, then what's the point of search? You can leave now. T, I have a search warrant. Showed him the warrant. Please cooperate. Jungi, I don't care about any search warrant. You can't check my house without my permission. I'm a doctor. T, my intention isn't to trouble you or harm you. I have received orders from higher authorities. Please try to understand. This is an international case. Jungi, first show me your ID. Only then I will let you enter. T, fine. Showed him ID. Here, you can check it. You can even call the control room to confirm I'm a real officer. Jungi carefully checked the ID and even confirmed it with the control room. Okay, you can commit, but only you. T, to the other officers, wait in the car. I will be back shortly. Jungi allowed only T inside. He was worried about Hobie and Jimin's safety. He suspected someone from the Dream Equal to Reality company might disguise themselves as police. Jungi, have a seat and tell me what you were saying. T, listen, doctor. Yungi, Dr. Yungi, T. Dr. Yungi, I'm handling an international case. A 25-year-old man, Hobie, was brought to this country a few hours ago. A call was made to his family from your house. That call was traced, and that's how we found his location. Our investigation confirmed that Hobie is here. Please take me to him. His family is extremely worried. Yungi, listen silently. Okay, come with me. Yungi led me to the room where Hobie and Jimin were sitting, terrified. Hobie had wrapped his arms protectively around Jimin, who was trembling with fear. Yungi, Hobie, Jimin, look, Officer Tiang is here to meet you. T, there is nothing to afraid of. When you called your family earlier but couldn't finish the conversation, they contacted the police. The police in your country then contacted us. We are here for your protection. Hobie, really? The police from my country contacted you and sent you here to rescue me? T, yes, that's why we are here. Looking at Jimin. And who is this? We weren't informed about him. Jimin, I don't want to go here. I want to go home to my family. Please send me back. I don't want to stay here anymore. This country is nothing like what I imagined. It's horrible. Yungi gently patted Jimin's head. Don't cry. Officer Tiang is here. Now, soon you will be able to meet your family. T. But who exactly is he? We were only told about Hobie. Hobie, Officer T, I will explain everything. He is Jimin. Told him the entire story in details, how they were trapped and how they managed to escape. T, oh my god, such a huge scam operation happening right in our country and we didn't even know. Yungi, for the past few days, a strange illness has been spreading because of fake medicines. It's very likely these fake drugs were connected to the same place where these boys were working through take employment scam. T. We have also received many complaints about medicines. Looking at Hobie, don't worry, you both are safe now. But Hobie, you shouldn't lie to your family. You should have informed them the truth before coming here. Do you know how worried they are? They have been searching for you all over the country because you told them you were going to another city for training. Hobie, I realize my mistake now. I only wanted to surprise them. I never imagined something like this would ever happen to me. I had only seen things like this in movies. T. Many stories are inspired by real life. There are countless scams happening around the world, and educated people like you fell into them so easily. Do you realize your life could have been in danger? This is extremely serious. Hobie, I'm sorry. T. To Jimin, give me your family's contact number. I will coordinate with the officers from your country and arrange for you to be safely sent back home. Jimin, thank you so much, Officer T. I will never go to another country again. Just let me meet my family once. T, there is nothing wrong with going to another country. The problem is lying and being careless. Now, both of you come with me to the police station. We will handle the rest of procedure there. I will try to arrange your deportation as soon as possible. Hobby. Officer T, beside us, there are 148 innocent people still working in the factory. Their families must be worried too. T, what? 148 people are still there? Hobby, yes, they are being held, compelled, and forced to work. They have taken everyone's passport, mobile. No one can contact the outer world. T, don't worry, we will rescue them all and send them safely back home. Hobby, I have seen the place. I know secret routes to reach the factory. I will help you. T, but that's extremely danger. Hobby, if it means saving the lives of 148 people, I'm willing to take that risk. If they hadn't gathered the courage to help and escape, Jimin and I might not be alive today. Saving them is my responsibility. I'm coming with you. T, alright, come with me. Tell me everything you know about the factory. Jimin, you will also need to come with us so we can contact your country's authorities. Yungi, he is very frightened and his health isn't good either. May I stay with him until the officers from his country arrive? I'm a doctor. His safety is my responsibility. He's only 19 years old. T, alright, come with me. With Hobie's help, T made a plan with his team. All the criminals were arrested and the 148 innocent people were rescued safely. They were immediately sent to the hospital so they could receive proper medical treatment. Some of them were suffering from the same illness that Jimin had. The embassies of their respective countries were connected so arrangement could be made and send them back safely. Meanwhile, Officer Jun personally arrived with other officers to take Hobie back. All the legal procedures and formalities had been completed, and Hobie was officially handed over to June. Jimin and other workers who were still not well were stopped in the country until they completely well. June safely returned back to their country with Hobie. After completing the protocol, June himself handed Hobie to Jin and said, June, Jin, here is your brother. I kept my promise. I brought him safely. Jin, thank you so much, Officer June. Hobie hugged Jin tightly. I'm sorry, Ham. I will never ever lie and leave my country. I understood there is nothing like our country. June, Hobie, no country is perfect. Every country has good and bad people, just like you experienced. If there were fraudsters, then good people like Dr. Yungi and Officer T were also there who saved your life. There is nothing wrong to go to other city or utilizing the opportunity. You can go anywhere, but don't lie to your family and be careful. And one more thing, when you go outside the country, you aren't just a person, you are the citizen of our country. Your safety is our responsibility. We will always come first to rescue you, even if you're stuck on the Mars. We will come there too, because for us, our each citizen is matter. Hobie, thank you so much, Officer June. I realized the worth of my country. Now I will never disrespect it and be more careful. June, that's our duty. Now take care of your young and younger brother. They fought a long battle to bring you back. Hobie apologized to Jin and Cook and promised to never lie again. Jin was mad, but right now he was so happy to get his brother back. He decided to talk with Hobie later. They all happily returned to their home. Not every shining opportunity guarantees a bright and a secure future. Dreaming abroad is not wrong. Believing one place is perfect is. No place can be perfect because people themselves are imperfect. Good people exist everywhere, evil systems exist everywhere. But when danger comes, your passport becomes your shield and your home becomes your anchor. This was just a story, and stories are meant to have happy endings. But in real life, a happy ending is never guaranteed. Many people leave their homes tempted by the promise of a better life in another country, and some of them never find their way back. So stay alert and protect yourself from fraud before going to another country. Make sure you properly verify everything about the place and the opportunity. And most importantly, always stay in touch with your family so that if something ever goes wrong, someone can reach you and help bring you back home. Not every shining place is freedom, and not every imperfect home is a cage. Every country has light and darkness. It's people who choose which side they stand on. Running away from flaws doesn't guarantee a better life, but courage and wisdom do. Humanity exists beyond borders, in strangers who help and officers who protect. But when danger strikes, your homeland becomes your shield and your identity, your strength. Respect where you come from, not because it's perfect, but because roots anchor you when the world shakes. The end. Author's note. That's it for today. I hope you all liked it. It was Hobie's birthday special movie. I know I'm late, but better late than never. I hope you notice some people are always comparing their country to another. They focus only on their country's flaws and are always looking for a chance to leave. But when for any reason they find themselves stuck in their so called dream country, it's their own country that often comes to their rescue. No country is bad, there are good and bad people everywhere. You can't judge any country based only on what you see or hear. You truly understand a place only when you live there and experience it yourself. I hope you all enjoyed it. We will meet soon with new story. Till then, take care of yourself. Love you all. If you like this story, then please do like, subscribe, share, and comment. I assure you that you will never gonna regret on your decision. Thanks for watching.